Thursday, August 7th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. Let's take a look from the Avalon Pier web camera on the left and the Beach Mountain Parkway cam on the right from resortcams.com. Temperatures there along the Outer Banks sitting in the 70s. It is 60 right now at the summit of Beach Mountain, or at least there in the community of Beach Mountain there. And certainly looking at a relatively quiet start to the day. Now, yesterday we continued the warming trend across the region, just shy of 90 for highs in places like Greensboro and Charlotte, but up to 96 in Columbia, 90 in Raleigh, 95 in Fayetteville, even along the coast, 93 yesterday in Wilmington. Currently, a lot of low to mid 70s. There are a few 60s mixed in across the Piedmont, and certainly as you head on up into the mountains, some spots down into the 60s early this morning. Fog, not a terribly widespread problem this morning, but there are some patchy areas of fog in some spots. All right, so here's the setup today. Really a pretty quiet one. We've had one cold front slide through overnight. Some slightly drier air behind it. The rain chance very, very slim today. But that low pressure back in Missouri, that's going to be one of the big weather players for us tomorrow into the weekend. That's going to set us up for some very, very wet weekend weather. Now, we did have a few of those isolated showers or thunderstorms out there late yesterday. That's what the radar looked like as we went through the afternoon and into the evening hours yesterday. Certainly the coverage of rain, not all that great. There is the rainfall distribution, not that great across the western and central parts of North Carolina. Had more rain along parts of the coast. And certainly this morning it is quiet as can be out there across the area. One little shower there in central North Carolina, that's about it. But notice all this rain and thunderstorm activity back in Missouri and Oklahoma into Kansas. That is with that developing low pressure, very well-defined circulation there with that low situated right about there. So let's check some weather headlines for you. Pretty good weather for our Thursday, but rain chances arrive as soon as later tomorrow, and I really have not been able to change my thinking here. Not the greatest weekend forecast. It still looks like a very wet weather weekend is on the way. Now again, today the weather just fine. We'll see highs this afternoon topping out in the mid and upper 80s, some low 90s down toward Fayetteville, and certainly well up into the 90s still down in much of South Carolina. Tomorrow, though, the clouds will fill in, and by the afternoon, we begin to see some rain spreading on in from the west. And the rain could really begin to settle in then as we get toward tomorrow night. And then check out the setup here as we go through Saturday. It is a very, very wet setup. Sunday looks really very much the same. So look at these rain totals. Take the exact numbers with a grain of salt here, but look what the RPM is printing out. 4 to 5 inches of rain in a lot of real estate across North Carolina. And that's just ending at Sunday morning. The European model, not quite that heavy, but certainly a significant rain event. So this is one of those situations where, depending on how that low pressure area behaves, could see some pretty good rain totals in a lot of spots, maybe multiple inches of rain over the weekend. And we could see some flooding issues developing in some spots. Not a huge thunderstorm threat this weekend, at least severe thunderstorm threat. Not a lot of instability at all, but could we see some flooding issues materialize in some spots. And just here's a snapshot. Temperatures will definitely be held in check over the weekend. 70s for highs in Greensboro and Raleigh, and it's going to struggle to even make it out of the 70s in Charlotte. Tropics now all quiet. All across the Atlantic Basin, we have seen Bertha become a non-tropical low way up there in the North Atlantic Ocean. Nothing happening really out to the southern parts of the Atlantic, Caribbean Sea. Very quiet as we are beginning the day as well. Nothing really happening in the Gulf of Mexico either, so no sign of our next tropical system anytime soon. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Have a wonderful Thursday, and God bless.